So, KShawn, thank you for joining me on this call. I appreciate that. Why don't we start off with you just telling everybody what your name is, where you live, and a little bit about your background.
So first off, I would like to thank you for bringing me on. This is an honor for me getting to physically talk to you, even though it's through webcam. So my name is KShawn Joseph. I'm here. I live in Maryland. I'm right here on the East Coast. I have been in the Air Force for 7 years now.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. And just basically finding this business was something that happened almost naturally because I've already had an entrepreneurial side to me. I've done MLMs. I've been a part of different type of ventures that will teach me and mold my brain into learning about passive income. So ultimately, when I found this business, it was just like a no-brainer for me, and I jumped right in.
Okay. So what is it that attracted you about the ATM business? Since you've tried MLM and all this other stuff before, what is it that stood out about ATMs?
So first off, MLMs, I decided that that's what I was going to do. I just found out, though, through going through MLMs that you have to actually find your niche and find what passion you have in an MLM. And if the company is great, but you don't really like the product or vice versa, it's really hard to actually root yourself into any of those. So when I started to learn about the ATM business, ironically, was through YouTube, actually stumbling on to another ATM's educational system.
I love that.
Right. I stumbled onto that and got pretty interested really quick, and just the basics of how it worked was very intriguing. The risk to reward ratio, all that stuff was like, man, this seems like it can do a lot for me. Almost as fast or a little bit easier on my end than an MLM. So I decided to take this route instead.
Awesome. And what made you decide to get some help with learning the ATM business?
Well, two things. The first thing was I had no clue about the ATM business until I found out about the ATM business. I thought it was one of those things that banks owned, no idea that an ATM business can be anything. So I figured if I'm going to start investing my time and especially my money into an ATM business, I should get proper education and learn and get mentored, stuff like that. Through that, like I said, I found another educational ATM business before finding you. And I mean, it was probably a week before. And I wish that week before it didn't happen, but I mean, it was a blessing for me because I learned what was good information and what's great information. And
so you joined another training first before becoming my student.
Yep.
So what made you decide to say, you know what, I think I need to go a different direction with a different mentor?
Well, because first off, when you are going to start investing your time and your money and stuff like that, you start to weigh those options. What's going to really be worth your value, and value is a big thing. So, of course, me not knowing anything about the business when I ran into the previous school, I was willing to throw whatever amount of money I had to throw at it because I felt that the value I was going to get was going to be worth more than the cost.
Right.
I quickly learned that wasn't the case because once I actually started with this school, it was very minimal information, super generic. A lot of BS was thrown into it to basically sell a lifestyle that you could have, which can happen, but the morals and the foundation of the school wasn't up to par with what I was doing. So right off the bat, hopped on YouTube, started looking around, and I saw your face pop about 6 or 7 times on YouTube. And I'm not even playing. I probably watched 2 videos, and then I had to find you on Facebook. I watched 2 of your videos. And after I watched them, I was like, man, I don't even know her, but she seems very genuine. She's not putting up with any bullshit. She's telling you exactly what this one school is not telling me now. And the 2 videos I watched on YouTube of yours, which spanned, both of them were about 16, 17 minutes. I got more information out of those 2 videos than the whole first week in the other school that I was doing. And I was like, forget this.
Wow.
I'm not putting in any more money into this one. And I jumped over it as soon as I could.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Now, so did you have any, like, what was your biggest concern about becoming my student? Because you just kind of maybe got screwed a little bit here. So you had to have some kind of concern, or no?
Well, the only concern I think I actually had when I said I'm going to leave this one to come to yours was now that I've started investing into this school that I no longer want to be a part of, was that going to be detrimental to me being able to invest in yours? And once I actually joined yours, was it going to be more of the same, like what I was already going through? But I think at the time you were still, I don't know if you still do it now, but you can put in an application to get a call and basically speak to the applicant trying to join your school, because you also want to see if you want them to be there. And ironically for me, I messaged you and you called me personally. So sometimes you can, energy doesn't lie. And, I feel like we vibed on the phone, even though we spoke for a small amount of time. And I was at work too, right after a meeting. I actually walked out of the meeting to answer your phone call because I knew that it was you. And the vibes that I got was way better than the other school. We don't speak to those guys. They barely talk to us, and, a whole bunch of different things that didn't jive. So there wasn't that many things that I was worried about switching over. It was more of, am I still going to be able to invest the way I need to for the proper education?
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Awesome. And then, so you joined the training. Now, did you right away realize that it was different from the other training, or did it take you some time to realize this is a little bit different than this other training you got?
Nope. It was right away. The support system, first off, the value is definitely more important. So the cost for your class is definitely priced as where it should be, in my opinion, if not more, because as we know, like when we try to purchase something that we think is of value, the reason we're physically putting our money down is because we think we can get more value from it. So the price that is on your school was relative. What's wrong, buddy? Was relative. So, but then as soon as I logged into the website and I saw the structure of the school, I saw the videos, how in depth they were. It was night and day. I'm talking about, we have a 2-minute video here to a 15, 16-minute video here, and it goes into so much detail. And it was like you were literally standing next to me, holding my hand through the process, and it made it so much better, so much easier.
Awesome. And then, of course, you have access to the student-only Facebook group, which you can utilize. And did you notice that I'm active in that group or not?
Actually, you are the most active, in my opinion. I will post, and you are the first person most times to answer back. And I like that, because just like right now, I'm taking online classes in college, and I cannot stand when I message a professor and he doesn't answer, or she doesn't answer back until a week later when it is no longer relevant to me. So I think that support, even the student group itself, being able to get in there with people who've been doing it for a long time, and then they can, bounce their experiences off of what I have going on and vice versa. The community is so tight. I love it. Like, it makes me feel like, man, I can really have any type of issue and just say it, say it in the group. And then someone's already had the issue. You definitely probably already had the issue. So it really helps.
It's like a little family, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Love that group.
Yeah, me too. And I love, what makes me really smile and makes my heart smile is when, let's say I don't respond right away, but you guys jump in and help each other.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, that just makes my day.
Yeah, because it's definitely, all the issues that you've had to go through, the growing process, that learning curve in the beginning, you remember how much of a pain it was when you don't have anybody there, or you have to kind of, take your time and learn and get the things that's necessary. So when you see somebody about to go through that and you have the answers, it's super easy to just tell them.
Oh, yep, exactly. Awesome. So you joined the training. How long before you placed your first ATM after you joined the training?
So my experience is a little different because when I joined the training, it was literally about 3.5 weeks before me getting ready to deploy to Korea.
Right. So, I remember that now.
Yep. So, however, here's the thing. I was so adamant about getting into the system, regardless of the time frame that I can place my ATM, because I felt like the knowledge that I can gain while deployed was so invaluable. I didn't want to miss out and not be connected while gone overseas. So even though I joined your program and then deployed, I immediately came back and implemented what I learned from the program, and within the first 2 weeks, I got an ATM.
Wow. Okay, so you joined the training, then you get deployed to South Korea. Is that what you said?
Yep.
So you join the training, you get deployed to South Korea. Were you going through the training overseas?
So while I was overseas, I was actually watching the videos.
Oh, cool.
And there wasn't much I can do physically, but I was able to, really pay attention to the fundamentals of how to look for businesses and your morals and pretty much the foundation. So I used the time I was in Korea to not so much worry about how to place an ATM, but the overall foundation and knowledge I needed to know to place an ATM.
Right. Okay. And so you went through the trainings, and then you thought it was more important that while you're overseas, you can get all this knowledge in your head where when you came back to the States, boom, you could just go do it.
And that's literally what happened.
That's awesome.
That's literally what happened. I got your training, deployed. While I was overseas, I bought myself an LLC. I came back from the deployment, and within 2 weeks of being home, I got my first contract signed.
That's awesome.
2 weeks.
That's awesome. 2 weeks. That is awesome.
Yep.
Great job.
It was pretty fast. And then it really helped that I was able to, I think, listen to the impromptus that you did with your wife, being able to understand the different situations and the different things that you're going to be presented with when talking to business owners. So by the time I got out onto the field and got my feet wet to actually do it, I've already went over it so many times before even getting there. It was easy.
You felt like an expert because you had all this time. I was just thinking about that. Like you probably have more time to really let it soak into your head and listen to it over and over again than somebody who's in the States and gets the training and then they're just going through it, Yeah.
And I think both ways are equally as effective, because when you are going through the training and you go implement what you just learned right away, then you have the opportunity to see how you're doing in the training as you're doing it. And like me, I was able to not implement up front. However, I really was able to hone in on what was necessary. The verbal judo is what I like to call it.
I love that.
You can tell when, when like a business owner wants to say no, but they're being polite and they say, oh, maybe I'll call you later, or just certain things like that you pick up on in conversation. And you can use that to leverage yourself to either maybe place a business with them or get them to give you another business owner.
Exactly. I love that. Yep. I love that. And I love the verbal judo. That's awesome.
Yeah, verbal judo is what it is.
Love it. So what did you find in the program, KShawn, that was most helpful for you?
That was most what?
Helpful for you.
I think the most helpful thing was the step-by-steps. Like, you have everything broken down into sections, and then in the sections are the steps. And having the resources, the preferred vendors, the contracts, those make it so much easier, because this being my first LLC, like I was so nervous to mistake something. I was so nervous that I'm going to do something that's going to put me in the wrong eyes with the IRS, stuff like that. Like little things that I don't want to deal with while trying to grow the business, and being able to see like these are the steps and the mistakes that you've made, and how this is how I'm fixing it for you as my students. That puts a level of comfort into the steps that I'm taking. So when I am presenting that contract to the business owner, I'm not second doubting myself like, is this contract even able to be used? Is this illegal? You know, it made me feel better, you know? So that was definitely one of the biggest things for me.
Awesome, awesome. So you've placed one machine, but you have one machine so far, or how many machines do you have?
So I have one machine now that's up and running. It's been up and running since I've been back from Korea, which was back in February.
Awesome.
So now, you know, their 90-day trial is ended. They like it. It's locked in. It's a workhorse. I have a second one now that's already been ordered. It's sitting in my basement. It's getting ready to be installed on Tuesday of next week.
Great.
And I have a third one that we're actually getting ready to sign a contract, hopefully on Saturday.
Wow.
They loved everything that I had to say about the ATM, and they're ready to place it as long as the area that they're in allows them to place it. So I have to wait for them to give me that okay, and then it's getting signed too.
So I remember you posted in the student group that you got like more deals that you might have money for right now, right? So there's more opportunities.
Yeah, so here's another unique opportunity that's coming around, and I actually wanted to put this in the Facebook, but I want to say it on here too. This second ATM that I have right now is going into a tattoo parlor, and the business owners, husband and wife, very humble, everything about them, I love them. So I am about to place their ATM on Tuesday. And what they also told me is that they are the owners of a tattoo expo that they run every year. And the area where they place their tattoo expo, there's a permanent placement ATM there that's always out of service. The crazy thing and the ironic thing about this specific ATM that they're talking about is I spoke to the business owner about that ATM. So I went to the business owner to ask him, hey, how do you like the service? You know, everything that we learned in the school.
Yeah, right.
The service, is this everything that you like about it? And the business owner straight up said, hey, you know what? This ATM, I'm the new owner of this establishment, but that ATM is always empty. It's always broken. As of right now, there's a sticker on it saying out of service. And he said he's going to check the contract because if he can get out, he's going to switch with me. And that's the same ATM that my new owners has just said, when we're using this place for our expo, that ATM's out of service. So
wow.
It's a permanent one there, but they also want me, if I can, be able to bring ATMs to the dry floor where their expo is, because it's like 6,000 people going in and out getting tattoos, and it's cash only. They like these guys to stay right there for the cash. So a little bit of unique opportunity. It's a little overwhelming because I'm still, you know, wet, but
yeah, you're gonna need some cash, buddy, for that tattoo thing.
Cash, right?
So, are you gonna get to be that permanent placement ATM in that spot too?
Yes, I am.
Is that the third machine that's coming?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the third machine. I'm waiting for him because he's already spoken to that owner of that ATM. He's ironing out the details of when that contract ends, and I think it already has ended.
That's awesome.
And he's
well done.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
a permanent place in there, and then that dry floor in this recreational center has home shows and tattoo expos and all types of different things that happen on the dry floor. So when I get, you know, to that level where I can do mobile ATMs, I can just wheel them on in.
Exactly.
So
that's awesome.
Permanent one in the building will be mine, and then when there's an expo on that floor, I'll also bring one there.
That's awesome, and I don't think that's what people realize is when you go to these events, that permanent placement one is always never fails that it runs out of money, and that's why these event organizers bring their own ATM service in. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that you're gonna hit both angles.
It was ironic. I didn't even know because I spoke to the owner's name is Jason. I spoke to Jason about his inoperable ATM weeks before I landed a contract with my new tattoo parlor. Awesome. It just so happens that they use that same space and talked about the same ATM. So it was pretty cool.
Meant to be.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, that one gets locked in as well.
So the second one is a tattoo place. The third one is going to be at like this event center, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a recreational center. So they have like, you know, rock wall, ice rink. The dry floor has different events that happen.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Something like that.
What kind of place is the first one in?
It's a tattoo parlor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. So, and they're literally down the street from each other. Literally.
Love it.
So the crazy thing about this is also this guy, this second ATM is like meant to be, because I didn't even physically find these business owners. I didn't look for them at all, nothing. It was a cold call because of my branch manager at. I got a good relationship with Miss Kim, and she told me she had a client come in asking if we sold ATMs. And she said, no, we don't, but I have a client with an ATM business, and with your permission, I'll give him your number.
That's awesome.
She gave me his number. I said, hey, Brent, I heard Miss Kim say that you're looking for an ATM. He said, absolutely. I went by, we talked, I spoke to his wife. He showed me this area and signed.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Connections, relationships, I'm telling you.
And I love doing that more than I love my job in the Air Force, and I love my job in the Air Force.
Wow.
Being able to talk to people, and that I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the second business owners, the husband and wife, because you know what, that is so important. When you start placing these ATMs, you really will build these connections and these friendships with these people, Awesome.
And that's literally what happened. When I first went to meet them for the first time, we didn't even start talking about the ATM until about 30 minutes after just shooting the shit. Like, we just spoke and laughed, and she was telling me about how they do all these things, and we have all these commonalities and stuff. And then we got into talking about the ATM, and it was like I didn't even have to.
Right.
After we finished talking, after we finished talking, he just goes, "Okay, so where's a good place in here we should put it?" I'm like, right there.
I love it. So, awesome.
Yep.
So what's it like having a successful ATM business for you? Like, what kind of impact has it had for you?
Well, so far, the best thing about the ATM business, and this is just going off of one, is that I am able to do more things that, things that I didn't really care for. Like, I wanted to do them, but I didn't care to be able to do them. And now that I can. So I have the time to just, I can take leave from work. I have plenty of leave, but being in the military, you kind of pick and choose when you want to use it, because they got to have you on a leash until your contract ends. But the satisfaction of knowing that now that I'm coming into work, but the amount of time I'm here, my ATM has already made the same amount of money, if not more, in that one ATM. So I love that. I also enjoy the fact that me and my girlfriend's doing it together. We're building this together now, and it's super cool to me that we're able to do that and kind of build a side life for when we decide we're going to move away from these full-time jobs.
Gotcha. That's
and
awesome.
Then especially when you just sit down for a couple seconds and write, because we know numbers don't lie. So we can just write down what these numbers are doing in these areas and seeing projected where we can be in a couple of weeks, couple months. It's super exciting.
Yeah, awesome. What do you think, KShawn, is the number one reason why you've been so successful in my training program?
The number one reason why I think I've been successful? I think there's actually two reasons for me. One of them is staying plugged in. That's a big thing, because it's really easy to, it just goes for really anything. It's easy to purchase something that you want to get education from, maybe watch it for a couple of days, get excited about it, and don't ever take the action. And if you don't ever take the action, you just have it sitting there. I have it tabbed on my computer, so it's in my favorites, and whenever I feel like I forgot something, I can just click it open, plug myself back in, and learn again. So that made it easy for me to become successful, because right after staying plugged in, I go out there and implement.
Right.
And I think that I'm pretty good with talking to people. I'm really good at being personable. I'm always, so on the military side, I'm already an instructor. I give instruction to people they far outrank me. People that I instruct have been in the military longer than I've been alive.
Wow.
So I already have a level of comfort when it comes to talking to people, talking in front of people. I don't get really nervous with that.
Okay.
None of that would matter if I wasn't comfortable with the content. And being able to get in and out of that training whenever I want, no matter what time of day it is, implement, makes it super easy. It's easier than school.
What do you go to school for?
So right now I'm getting my bachelor's in Homeland Security, and I'm my last 8 classes, and I mean, I can't wait to be finished. And I'm doing it because I said I would. Like, I don't have to, but like I already said that I was going to do it, so I try to stick to my word.
Yeah, you like to see things through to the end.
I have to, because it's going to bother me if I don't.
Right. Awesome. I love that. I love that. And so if you could pick one, just one favorite thing about your new ATM business so far, what would it be?
One favorite thing about my ATM business, I want to say probably the flexibility. I think the flexibility is the best thing, because if I wasn't fully employed and I was just doing an ATM business, I have complete control over how many, when, and how much I would like to do and gain more or less ATMs. And it would directly influence how much income I could bring into my household. And that is 10 times better than ever working at a job or even having a successful career, in my opinion. Because even with a successful career, you're still tied into certain things that keep you almost as a slave to it. But this is completely flexible. If I decide that I no longer want to do any of this, I can just sell them.
Boom! Yes.
You have it all, but you can get rid of it whenever you want. Yep. The flexibility of it is the biggest thing for me. And I enjoy that.
I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That comes from being always in a box in the military, when you're always in a set of restrictions all the time. And then this is like, well, you don't have to do this, or you can. You can make this, or you don't have to. Right. We have help, or don't use the help.
Right.
It's amazing to have that.
Choices, freedom is what it's all about, right? Awesome. So, KShawn, what would you say to someone who might be considering my training? They're on the fence, but they're considering it. What would you say to them?
Well, first off, follow your heart. And I think that sounds very cliche, but the first time I decided to go for the first ATM business, I did it out of a lot of emotion. I was like, this is probably the thing. Out of all the things I've ever tried, I feel like this is the thing. And it is. I just had the wrong mentors. So keeping my intuition and getting steered in the right direction really helped me. So if you're somebody who's on the fence thinking about, maybe I want to do this, this might be a waste of my time, I don't have the funds, or any of those little bit of doubts that's in the back of your mind, just think about that value that you can gain. And, time is going to go by anyway. Like, you're going to either try it and it may work for you, it may not, but then if you never tried it and did it, then you would have never known. And I can attest that I was pretty close after the first time to not even doing it. The moment I spent all that money and noticed I was getting value out of it, I almost did not do it. And then I ran into your videos 1 week later, and I was like, yep, I'm going back in.
Wow.
And it was super easy for me. And I mean, like, when the moment I found your training and you gave me the opportunity to pay for the courses, I paid for that over a couple things that were more important, and it didn't even bother. It didn't even faze me, because the value that I got from it has already doubled what I would have paid for, like bills and stuff, in my opinion. So
wow,
it's definitely worth it, in my opinion, and I would do it again and again. I've already recommended so many other strangers that were prior students in the other school that saw me leave and come to your side. They asked me, hey, I see that you've left and went here. Why is that? And because of that, they've also left, and I don't know them. I get no gain from that.
Right. Yeah.
Morally, it was just a better decision. So,
I appreciate that. Appreciate you, man.
It was the best. I appreciate you. I wouldn't, man. Woo. Tell you.
And I was going to ask you, would you do it all over again? But you already answered that. You would.
I would. Yeah, I would. Only thing I would do over was, meet you sooner.
Right.
If I knew, I think that's the issue when you're trying to learn something new or branch out or build a business, is the obscurity of people not knowing. Like, if I knew that there was a mentor like you and your caliber before finding the other one, it would have been a no-brainer. But me going through the past one, even though it was only a week or two, was a stronger reassurance when I joined yours, because I can visually see the difference. I can look on their dashboard and look at your dashboard and see the care that was given, the amount of detail and time you took into yours based off of the other one that was thrown together, because they know that they can get a profit from people like me who are trying to actually do something, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It's sad, but it's the world we live in, and I just wish more people could find me sooner. But even though they do, they may find me, I still might not be their choice, and that's okay. In the end, the people that were meant to work with me, we find each other. Yeah,
and that's the best thing, because the ones that you make the most money with are the ones that you don't know at all. You learn about them, you guys grow together, and then you take it forward. But like, I don't think so far. Even when we are, welcoming new people into the group chat now, we don't know them whatsoever, but there's already a connection because they're about to go through the same stuff that we're going through. And it makes it that much better to see everybody winning. I love seeing other people win. And people love to see me win, because I'm going to keep winning.
Oh, yeah. I know you are. You got it in you, man, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate you being on this call with me. It was an honor. Do you have any final words for anybody that might be watching?
Get started. If you are trying to think, if you're thinking about getting started, just get started. If you're ready, make sure you have all the requirements, because I can tell you right now, if you're trying to join this business and you're not ready mentally, financially, it's going to be a lot harder, even with the support. There's nothing that Carey can do as support that you won't be able to do for yourself if you don't come in ready. So that's a big thing. And that's why I think me being in Korea really helped, because that gave me the time to get ready. Me being deployed gave me the finances I needed when I got back. It all just fell into place.
So, awesome.
I love it. I hope to keep seeing everybody grow. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to be in that Facebook chat going crazy.
I love it. Thank you so much, KShawn, for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And
it was amazing. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. You need anything, you just reach out in the group, all right?
Cool.
All right. And tell Bentley that I said bye. He left the room.
Yeah, he's sleeping on the floor.
All right. You have a great day, sir.
See you.
All right. Thanks.